Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, author of No Willpower Required and founder of Cloud9. And today, we're doing an exploration into something pretty fascinating, something that probably crosses your mind if you create things or enjoy a good story. I want you to picture something for a second. Think about those iconic figures, right? Hemingway with his whiskey, or, the classic image of the artist, maybe a drink in hand, staring at a canvas. Musicians, writers, they're often shown with alcohol, almost like it's their secret sauce, their muse. There's this really strong cultural myth, isn't there? This idea that alcohol is somehow a key, like a shortcut to unlocking creativity or genius. But here's the question we're going to dig into today. Does it actually make you more creative? Or are we maybe just romanticizing things a bit, mistaking that initial buzz for real creative power? So today's mission is pretty straightforward. We're going to strip away the myths, the romance, and take a careful look at the science. What actually happens in your brain when you drink, especially when you're trying to be creative. And look, this isn't about saying it's good or bad. It's just about understanding. My goal is for you, whether you're a writer, artist, builder, whatever, is to get the nuances here. So by the end, you can make really informed choices for your own process. We'll look at why that first drink feels helpful, that initial loosening up. But also, critically, why the longer-term effects might actually, hold back your best ideas. Yeah, let's unpack this initial boost, because many of us have felt it, right? That sensation, like the mental brakes just ease off a little, ideas seem to flow more freely. What's going on there? Well, science tells us alcohol's first effect is lowering your inhibition. It kind of quiets down what we often call your brain's inner critic, the one. So the science is pretty clear on this. Alcohol reduces activity in your prefrontal cortex. Think of like the CEO of your brain. It handles planning, decision-making, self-control, all that overthinking and second-guessing. A little voice whispering, nah, that idea's dumb. Alcohol basically dampens that voice down, puts the critic on mute temporarily. And that feeling, that's why that first drink can feel like this rush of freedom. Ideas just seem to pop up. You feel less worried about being silly or wrong. The mental guardrails are down for a bit. But here's a really important distinction, a critical one. While this initial effect can definitely help with, let's say, brainstorming, generating lots of ideas, divergent thinking, it's not the same thing as true, sustained creativity. That's key. Brainstorming is just, step one. The fun part, maybe. But what about actually building something with those ideas? So you get that initial lift, that feeling of possibility. Okay? But what happens next? This is the part we talk about less. The crash. As more alcohol gets into your system, research shows it really starts to slow things down. Your brain's processing speed, it drops. Your memory gets fuzzy, short-term and long-term. And your ability to focus, to really concentrate, that takes a big hit. Now, think about what that means for actually finishing something creative. Editing that article, mixing that track, solving that tricky design problem. That stuff requires focus, precision, holding complex ideas in your head. Alcohol makes that kind of detailed, methodical work, much, much harder. It's like trying to do surgery wearing mittens. It just doesn't work well. And it's not just in the moment. There are longer-term chemical effects too. Over time, regular alcohol use can actually mess with your dopamine sensitivity. Dopamine, that's your motivation chemical, right? Your reward signal, drive. If your brain becomes less sensitive to it, that means less motivation, less drive to even start creative work, let alone push through the hard parts and finish it. So, research draws this really interesting line. A tiny bit of alcohol might slightly help with that divergent thinking, the brainstorming, spreading out, but it significantly harms convergent thinking. And convergent thinking is, it's choosing the best idea, refining it, problem solving, bringing it to life. So maybe an analogy helps here. Alcohol might help you think outside the box, there are ideas everywhere, but it makes it way harder to actually build the box afterwards or put anything useful together from the pieces. Which brings us right back to that myth. Alcohol equals creativity. We know it's got deep roots. We romanticize those heavy drinking artists, don't we? Linking near genius to the bottle. But here's the thing. When you look closer, many of those brilliant people likely created despite the alcohol, not because of it. Their talent was theirs. The alcohol was often, frankly, a struggle, a huge burden, something that probably hindered them, maybe even cut their career short. We see the successes, not always the cost, and there are clear physiological reasons why it's harmful long term. For one, alcohol wrecks your sleep, really messes it up. You might pass out faster, sure, but it disrupts REM sleep. And REM sleep is absolutely vital for memory, processing emotions, and yes, creative insights. Problem solving too. Your brain makes connections during good sleep. Alcohol prevents that. Plus, it depletes essential nutrients, especially B vitamins like B1, thiamine, and B12. These are crucial for mental energy, brain clarity, neurotransmitter function. Try and be creative with a depleted brain. It's like running a marathon on empty. And ironically, while people drink to relax, chronic use can actually increase anxiety and depression, which makes that sustained focus, that imaginative work, that resilience you need, much harder to access. So that short-term spark, it can easily lead to long-term burnout. It just undermines your potential. Okay, if alcohol isn't the magic bullet, what is? What are the smarter ways to find creative flow? The good news is there are plenty of healthy, science-backed alternatives. Things that give you the benefits without the downsides? Let's look at a few. For example, L-theanine. You find this amino acid in green tea. It promotes the state of calm focus, relaxed alertness, no sedation. It boosts alpha brainwaves, which are great for deep work and creativity. It's actually a key ingredient in Daily Restore, which I developed exactly for that kind of clear, calm state. Helps quiet the noise. Then there's vitamin D1. This is a fat-soluble form, so your body absorbs it much better. It's vital for mental energy, brain clarity. Think of it like premium fuel for your brain cells. Supporting your brain nutritionally is, well, foundational for good creative work. And don't forget the power of exercise, even just simple movement. Getting your body moving boosts dopamine and improves mood, helps you think more flexibly. A walk outside, a quick workout. It can totally refresh your perspective. Generate new ideas, it really works. So many creative people swear by movement. And finally, simple things like mindful breaks. Seriously powerful. Step away from the screen, doodle, daydream. Let your mind wander. Often, the best ideas pop up when you're not trying so hard, when you give your subconscious some space. The bottom line here is really important. True creativity thrives in a brain that's supported, nourished, rested, not one that's constantly recovering from something that depletes it. So let's wrap this up. The core truth we've looked at today. Alcohol might loosen you up temporarily, quiet that inner critic for a moment, but doesn't actually make you more creative. And the cost is high. It takes away your clarity, your energy, your focus, right when you need the most for the real work. If you really want to unlock your best ideas consistently, tap into your full potential. There are healthier, more sustainable, and frankly, way more effective ways to do it. Plus, no hangovers, right? That's a pretty good bonus. So I want to leave you with a thought for this week, an empowering one. What's one small, healthy shift you could make, starting now, to better support your own creative brain? To unlock that next big idea without needing alcohol, think about what that choice could mean for your creativity and just for your well-being overall. Thanks for joining me on this exploration today. Until next time, keep creating, keep discovering. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.